This presentation showcases the new features and enhancements that VMware is introducing in vSAN 7 Update 1. In one of the largest, most significant releases in memory, vSAN 7 U1 includes a massive number of enhancements to help organizations address the demands of their environment quickly and efficiently. You'll see that data centers powered by vSAN will deliver all new levels of efficiency with Update 1. First, let's quickly review what VMware offers. Today, VMware's platform offers the level of flexibility that is needed for today's rapidly changing needs. It's built off of a foundation of VMware vSphere, paired with vSAN. This provides the basis for a fully software-defined storage and virtualization platform that removes dependencies from legacy solutions using physical hardware. Next is VMware Cloud Foundation, the integrated solution that provides the full stack of tools for an automated private cloud. And finally, there's VMware Solutions for the public cloud. VMware is partnered with the industry-leading cloud providers that offer services based on VMware Cloud Foundation. This offers customers to build a hybrid cloud using public and private assets using a common substrate of management and tools for consistent infrastructure operations. Public cloud partners include VMware Cloud on AWS, Azure VMware Solutions, Google Cloud VMware Solutions via GCP, IBM VMware Solutions, and VMware Cloud Provider partners. New versions of software can be important and exciting for those operating a data center, as they look to provide better utilization, efficiency, and productivity. vSAN 7 Update 1 delivers. This presentation will show an outstanding number of features are included under 4 basic categories: deliver developer-ready infrastructure, scale without compromise, simplify operations, and extend file services. We'll be taking a detailed look at what is included in each one of these categories in the next several minutes. Let's get started. VMware's march toward providing a platform that is ready for developers continues with vSAN 7 Update 1. An infrastructure that accommodates the needs of developers and administrators is key behind delivering services quickly and efficiently. Let's take a look at the improvements we're introducing that relate to environments running cloud-native applications. vSAN 7 U1 introduces a new framework to simplify the deployment and operation of modern applications relying on cloud-native architectures. Cloud-native applications have unique needs of an infrastructure due to their share-nothing architecture and integrated data services. The new vSAN Data Persistence Platform allows modern databases and stateful services to plug into the framework through APIs to maintain an efficient persistence of these distributed applications and data. Available through several product editions, the DPP provides the awareness and intelligence specific to the application. It allows it to run efficiently with optimal performance while enabling the administrator to perform day-to-day operations of the environment without interruption of services. With the DPP, we make it simple for the IT admins to provide an object interface for developers. Available as part of the new vSAN Data Persistence Platform is VMware vSAN Direct Configuration. vSAN Direct Configuration is a new feature introduced in vSAN 7 U1 that provides optimized data storage for shared-nothing applications like Cassandra and MongoDB that do not need data services. The applications are administered through the same vCenter management interface, but as an optimized data path to access designated storage devices on the host in vSAN, but are not part of the vSAN data store. vSAN Direct Configuration is ideally suited for cloud-native applications that require high storage capacity in an economical way. The vSAN Ready Node program will be updated to provide configuration to suit these value-based use cases. vSAN Direct is available through VMware VCF with Tanzu and vSAN Enterprise Edition. vSphere with Tanzu is the suite of technologies that integrates Kubernetes with vSphere. vSAN plays an important role in VMware's cloud-native offerings because of its premier level of capabilities, thanks to data portability and storage policy-based management. vSphere and vSAN 7 U1 enhances the capabilities of vSphere with Tanzu even more with all new levels of integration and support. Migrations and restorations of vanilla Kubernetes to Tanzu Kubernetes Grid (TKG), and now volumes can be extended for guest TKG guest clusters. Perhaps most importantly are the new volume health alerting capabilities. This can work in concert with the vSAN Data Persistence Platform operators to take action on unexpected volume conditions. And finally, vSphere 7 U1 also extends support of persistent volumes to TKG. This was previously only available in vanilla Kubernetes deployments. Accommodating for growth is the perennial challenge of organizations. Scaling quickly, efficiently, and with flexibility helps not only those that consume the resources, but the organization's investment in the growth of these resources. vSAN 7 Update 1 introduces several important new features and enhancements that improve the design and operation of vSAN clusters that comprise a data center. Let's see how. VMware HCI Mesh is VMware's all-new feature that provides for disaggregated HCI, or DHCI, exclusively through software. HCI Mesh allows an administrator to easily define a relationship between two vSAN clusters and borrow capacity from another cluster, improving the agility and efficiency in an environment. This disaggregation allows the administrator to separate compute from storage. HCI Mesh uses vSAN's native protocols for optimal efficiency and interoperability between clusters. Complementing the inherent capability within vSAN to treat storage as an exclusive resource of the cluster, HCI Mesh delivers the flexibility in resource provisioning that many of our customers requested. vSAN includes several technologies that improve the space efficiency of stored data, including cluster-based deduplication and compression, as well as per-object-based erasure coding. vSAN 7 U1 introduces a compression-only option, which is a cluster-based feature similar to vSAN's deduplication and compression. The compression-only option allows customers to take advantage of space efficiency techniques for demanding workloads that typically cannot take advantage of deduplication techniques. Using the compression-only option also reduces a failure domain in comparison to clusters running deduplication and compression, as a failed capacity device in a cluster using the compression-only option will affect just the discrete device and not the entire disk group. This highly efficient space efficiency feature is a great option for those who want space efficiency, but with minimal overhead and operational changes when compared to a cluster not running any form of cluster-based space efficiency. vSAN 7 U1 also makes substantial improvements in the free capacity required for vSAN to handle conditions such as host failures and internal vSAN operations. Internal optimizations were made to vSAN to dramatically improve its usage of free capacity and improve the TCO of the cluster. The generalized cluster recommendations of 25 to 30% of free capacity is replaced with calculations that factor in the cluster host count, cluster settings, and other considerations. The result, as shown here, demonstrate impressive levels of improvement. For example, a 24-node cluster needs just 14% free capacity to account for host rebuild reserves, for example, host failures, and operation reserves, for example, vSAN operations. By requiring less capacity for overhead, this makes the design and management of vSAN easier and more efficient for our customers. Managing capacity in a distributed system like vSAN is a little different than that of a three-tier architecture. As a result of substantial feedback from our customers, vSAN 7 U1 introduces an all-new method of capacity management for vSAN clusters. vSAN now gives you the tools to safely manage and sustain services as the demand for resources grow. It presents a capacity reserve, previously known as slack space, fully integrated into the UI and the health check engine. Administrators have the option of enabling two subcomponents of this capacity reserve. Host rebuild reserve is a dynamic calculation representing one host worth of capacity in a cluster, while operations reserve is the free space necessary for internal temporary vSAN operations. When enabled, UI capacity reporting will reflect these thresholds, and vSAN will employ safeguards and health checks to help prevent the cluster from exceeding critical capacity conditions. A two-node vSAN architecture has proven to be a great solution for organizations that have a large number of small branch offices or retail sites. vSAN 7 U1 delivers greater efficiency to this topology through the ability to use the same witness host virtual appliance at the central site for multiple two-node sites. This greatly reduces the amount of physical resources needed at the central site and can yield an extraordinary level of savings for large numbers of two-node branch office deployments. For example, a topology with 30 remote sites would have previously needed 240 gigabytes of RAM at the central site for the witness host appliances, but using a shared witness model would only require 16 gigabytes. Improvements in scaling also come as a result of optimizations made throughout the stack. In fact, the improvements made in both vSAN 7 and vSAN 7 U1 result in up to 30% performance improvements. This means higher levels of IOPS and throughput and lower levels of latency. Just one of the many reasons to upgrade. Simplified operations means predictable outcomes. This is one of the reasons why VMware continues to make significant investments in improving the resilience and flexibility of operations with vSAN. vSAN 7 U1 introduces a series of enhancements that was a direct result of feedback from our customers. Beyond enhancements that improve the robustness of vSAN, the improved operational handling also includes all new levels of visibility for customer workloads. Let's take a look at some of these improvements. This release takes a major leap forward in improving the durability during planned maintenance operations. vSAN 7 U1 introduces a method that upon a host entering into maintenance mode using the Ensure Accessibility option, it will allow vSAN to write all incremental updates to another host in addition to the host holding the object replica. This helps ensure the durability of changed data in the event that one of the hosts holding the updated object replica failed during the maintenance window. In cases of an unrecoverable failure of the host with the current object replica, the changed data can be merged with the replica residing on the host that originally went into maintenance mode, so that an up-to-date object replica is readily available. This can help drive better efficiency for customers who previously would use FTT equaling 2 to better ensure data durability during maintenance mode events, as FTT equaling 1 using vSAN's enhanced durability is a more efficient alternative to this specific scenario. Host reboots are a necessary task in today's data center. VMware looked for opportunities to optimize the time it takes for a vSAN host to restart during a planned maintenance event. The result of these improvements include dramatically improved restart times for vSAN 7 U1 hosts during a planned host restart, comparable to restarts of vSphere hosts not running vSAN. These optimizations take advantage of the known state of the in-memory tables used to track change data, quiescing the data and committing it to disk prior to the host restart, and reading the data to reconstruct the tables. Stretch clusters and two-node configurations are a great example of vSAN's ability to easily adapt to the needs of different topologies and use cases. vSAN 7 U1 simplifies the configuration process for stretch cluster and two-node configurations by allowing the user to specify if the default gateway used by vSAN should be overridden with a different IP address. This removes the manual static routing configuration steps performed at the command line through ESXCLI or PowerCLI and provides an improved level of visibility to the current host setting. vSphere Lifecycle Manager, or VLCM, was introduced in vSphere 7 as VMware's next-generation framework for software and firmware management of vSphere and vSAN hosts. vSphere 7 U1 extends the capabilities with the introduction of support for Lenovo-ready nodes. VLCM is now fully aware of vSAN fault domains and stretch clusters to ensure a preferred order of host updates that complete an entire fault domain prior to moving on to the next. Additional pre-checks and the support of more clusters that can be remediated concurrently improve the robustness and scalability of VLCM. And finally, VLCM now supports environments running NSXT version 3.1. Meeting regulatory requirements is an ongoing challenge for environments large and small. Complementing vSAN's data at rest encryption feature, vSAN 7 U1 introduces a new cluster-based feature for encrypting vSAN data in transit. The vSAN data in transit encryption securely encrypts all vSAN traffic in transit across hosts. It uses the same FIPS 140-2 validated cryptographic modules as used with the data at rest encryption, as well as vSphere's VM encrypt, and does so in an automated manner that does not require a KMS server for key management. Data in transit encryption option can be enabled independently from vSAN data at rest encryption, but enabling both will provide a complete end-to-end encryption solution on a per-cluster basis. Security is more than just limiting access and encrypting data. Many standards, such as the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, define requirements for the proper reuse or disposal of devices. vSAN 7 U1 takes these standards into consideration and introduces tools to securely wipe storage flash devices decommissioned from a vSAN cluster. Achieved through a set of PowerCLI commands, or API, this provides an easy and safe way for administrators to erase data in accordance to NIST standards. VMware vSphere and vSAN offer an unprecedented level of performance metrics to not only understand the characteristics of a workload, but performance details of the hypervisor itself. vSAN 7 enhances this further by providing more visibility of storage I/O characteristics, primarily I/O sizes. The size of storage I/O can have a profound impact on the perceived level of performance of the VM, and presenting I/O size distributions for a discrete workload can help identify if the I/O sizes are a contributing factor to latency spikes. This feature can be ideal for day 2 monitoring of an environment as well as troubleshooting performance. It can often take the mystery out of some of the subtleties of the workload, such as I/O size, percentage of sequential, non-sequential, and 4K alignment. Side-by-side comparisons of VMs and their respective storage performance behaviors has historically been challenging. vSAN 7 U1 made this effort much easier through a new consolidated I/O performance view. This will allow an administrator to select 2 or more VMs and will present common storage performance metrics in an overlapped manner for metrics such as IOPS, throughput, latency, congestion, and outstanding I/O. This will make for a much easier comparison of storage performance characteristics. vSAN provides the ability for administrators to set the maximum number of IOPS an object can use through a storage policy. This is an incredibly convenient way to establish limits on a VM, but it was difficult to distinguish if the latency seen from a VM was the result of an IOPS limit or the inherent latency of the storage stack. vSAN 7 U1 introduces improvements in the UI that will help distinguish the periods of latency that may be the result of enforced IOPS limits. This can be especially helpful for service providers or larger organizations who tend to employ IOPS limits in many of their commonly used storage policies. Ensuring compliance of regulatory compliance is not just limited to security. Accessibility is also a common requirement for some customer environments, which is why vSAN 7 U1 announces compliance with the Voluntary Product Accessibility Template, or VPAT. This VPAT compliance will ensure that vSAN has had a thorough audit of accessibility requirements and instituted product changes for proper compliance. Pre-checks are a method that VMware uses to ensure that operational tasks by an administrator do not yield unexpected results. Several pre-checks were introduced in recent vSAN editions, and this effort continues in vSAN 7 U1. The host decommissioning pre-check was enhanced to include pre-checks of decommissioning discrete disks and disk groups. This offers a much greater level of detail in the pre-check report for common administrative tasks such as EMM events and disk or disk group decommissioning. The introduction of vSAN 7 included the debut of native file services. This not only provides an extraordinary level of flexibility for administrators, but it provided a key element to serving up cloud-native applications in vSAN, persistent read-write many volumes. vSAN 7 U1 improves on the capabilities of file services even further. Let's take a closer look. vSAN 7 U1 extends the capabilities of the file services introduced in vSAN 7 with new protocol support, authentication, and scalability enhancements. In addition to support for NFS, file services now supports Windows file sharing through SMB versions 2.1 and version 3. Both types of file shares are now able to use Kerberos-based authentication when using Active Directory. Support for 2-node clusters is also introduced with this release. vSAN 7 U1 also improves the scalability of file services. Up to a total of 32 NFS and SMB shares per cluster is supported, and vSAN 7 U1 will now use up to 32 hosts to contribute to the processing of the file service, as the cluster scales up to a maximum of 64 hosts. And finally, new health checks and capacity views empower an administrator to better understand health-related conditions and capacity usage of the file services. Wrapping up, we've seen that vSAN 7 U1 introduces an extraordinary amount of new features and enhancements to address the needs of administrators, developers, and consumers. It hits on all 4 of the pillars, delivering a developer-ready infrastructure, scaling without compromise, simplifying operations, and extending file services. It doesn't take long for one to see that what is included with vSAN 7 U1 are not just simple enhancements, but profound levels of improvement that deliver solutions to challenges of the design, operation, and optimization of a vSAN-powered data center. Before you decide which path is right for you, there are some steps you can take to learn more about vSAN and vSAN-powered HCI solutions. First, if you still aren't sure about the fit or right size of vSAN for your environment, your organization can sign up for a free vSAN assessment. This is a tool our team can help you load to get a clear understanding of your environment and some specific recommendations. Next, if you just want to play around with the solution a bit, then we have a free online hands-on lab available 24/7. This lab offers an easily accessible way of interacting with the product that requires minimal effort. Test Drive allows users to explore vSAN with real gear in a high-performance environment. This is an ideal platform for testing any POCs through an accredited VMware partner. Test Drive helps reduce the need to run on-premises testing and evaluations to help answer customer questions more quickly. And then if you're already sold, then take a look into the right deployment option for you and contact your sales or partner rep to get started. To learn more about vSAN, be sure to visit virtualblocks.com and storagehub.vmware.com. These are great resources of information, and you can utilize them to get the latest and most up-to-date information about vSAN. If you've already set up a vSAN cluster, then we highly recommend that you upgrade as soon as possible to take advantage of the latest enhancements. If you're new to vSAN, well then take advantage of our hands-on lab, evaluation download, and assessment to get familiar with the product and start the journey of becoming a new customer and modernizing your data center. VMware Storage. Real. Today.